Flowers are blooming, the trees are growing their leaves out, and it is pitch season for early stage startups. A lot of students and entrepreneurs across the country are getting into pitch competitions, they're getting into just general pitching activities, learning how to share their startup with the world. I'm Josh Mertzleft, I'm a patent attorney, wanted to talk a little bit today about the intellectual property ramifications of pitches. But first, I need to say that IP, not the most important thing you're doing in your pitch. It isn't. Intellectual property should not be the focus of your pitch. You may mention it during your pitch, but it is not the focus of your pitch. You want to focus on generating buzz. You want to focus on telling people about your product or service, about your brand, about your company, and helping them to learn what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. And some of these competitions have monetary prizes too, and services prizes, which are nice to win, in addition to that buzz. But keep in mind that even if you don't win, the point is to get that buzz anyways, is to get the news stories, is to get all of the growth that happens from sharing your startup with the world. Now, how can intellectual property be affected by a pitch? Now, I'm not talking about including IP in your pitch deck, which some people do if they have it and if it's a good thing to include. However, I'm talking about how does your pitch affect your intellectual property? Now, there's two different big pieces of IP that you want to think about when it comes to your pitch. The first is trademarks, the second is patent. We've talked about in other videos about how trademarks are designed to help you protect your brand, build goodwill, to generate buzz, to help people start to identify what you're doing with who's doing it. And that connection, that identification is your brand. And that brand is protected by trademarks. Now, trademarks are based on use, particularly use in commerce in order to get registered, but use in general to start to build and accrue trademark rights. Usually you're showing the public what you're doing and who's doing it. You're helping the public make that connection, which helps to strengthen your mark. As far as applying for a trademark registration, you may or may not be ready at the point of your pitch. You have to show that you're using the mark in commerce in order to get a registered trademark. There are ways to file a preliminary trademark application, which you'll want to consider if your mark is something that you foresee competition with as soon as you go public with it. On the patent side, it's a little bit different. Trademarks, pitches are good for trademarks. Patents, usually pitches only go bad for patents. And the way they do it is this. Say you're getting into your pitch. You're talking about who you are, who's on your team, who your advisors are. You're talking about what your product or service is. And guess what? You tell the public how it works. You share your secret sauce. You say, wow, this is the amazing thing that we figured out, the problem that we solved. Here's our solution. From a patent standpoint, this makes things difficult. As soon as you make a public disclosure of your invention, the clock starts running. Here in the US, you have up to a year to file a patent application. That clock doesn't exist in every country. So if you have international patent aspirations, say in, for example, China, you are going to have difficulty if you make a public disclosure. They don't have a grace period like we do in the US. Theirs is extremely limited. You're going to want to talk to a patent attorney before you make that disclosure if you have any interest in international patenting. Now, from the US standpoint, you have that clock running. What you may do during your pitch too is you may talk about sales. You may talk about some customers that you have made sales to, which is another issue when it comes to novelty. And we'll talk more about novelty here in this video if you want to learn more about what prior art is and how that can affect your patent application. Novelty is a tough bar to clear after you've made a public disclosure of your invention. I'm not saying you necessarily have to have a patent application filed. That's a decision that you need to make with your patent attorney and with your startup stakeholders. You need to make sure that you're considering how you're going to stake that claim in the marketplace. So with that said, if you're a startup considering a pitch this spring or summer, you're going to want to remember the impacts that a pitch can have on your trademark and patent rights. If you want to learn more about this process, make sure you subscribe to the Stake Your Claim newsletter. You're going to want to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and learn more.